The roles within dysfunctional families mirror deeper psychological dynamics and universal mythological themes. Among these roles, the lost child and the fallen golden child form a particularly devastating alignment, a relationship that mirrors the story of Lucifer's fall from grace. This analysis explores how the lost child, searching for meaning, becomes entangled in the manipulative narrative of the fallen golden child, who uses shared experiences of rejection to deceive and control. Together, they form a destructive relationship fueled by manipulation and shared pain, where the lost child's vulnerability becomes a tool for the fallen golden child's ambitions, revealing the destructive interplay of unresolved trauma. The lost child is defined by their retreat into an internalized world, disappearing deeply into their subconscious mind to survive the constant chaos within a narcissistic family dynamic. Their solipsistic tendencies are not manifestations of arrogance, but mechanisms of survival. Lacking external validation, they find refuge in their thoughts, creating an inward reality that shields them from the dysfunction around them. Despite this self-imposed isolation, the lost child carries an unyielding desire for connection and purpose. They search for meaning, for love, for something greater, often looking toward the divine or an idealized savior. This longing makes them vulnerable, a target for those who offer the illusion of liberation while hiding self-serving intentions. In their desperation, the lost child mistakes manipulation for care, setting the stage for exploitation. The golden child begins as the family's symbol of perfection, their identity tied to meeting the unrealistic expectations imposed upon them. However, this exaltation is conditional, a fragile foundation that collapses under the weight of rebellion or perceived failure. When the golden child rejects their role, they transition into the scapegoat, a figure burdened with blame and cast out of favor. This fall breeds cynicism and resentment, transforming the once idealized individual into a force driven by a desire for divine retribution, seeking to reclaim power and inflict calculated vengeance under the guise of justice. The fallen golden child, much like Lucifer, leverages their charisma to draw others into their orbit. They no longer seek approval, but control, exploiting their past suffering to position themselves as a misunderstood savior. Their aim is not true liberation, but validation of their own rebellion, achieved by pulling others into their narrative. A critical tactic of the fallen golden child is their exploitation of shared scapegoat experiences. When the golden child falls, they become the scapegoat in the same way that Lucifer became the devil, a transition rooted in rebellion and rejection that redefines their identity and motives. They convince the lost child of a false equivalence. We are the same, both rejected, both misunderstood. This manipulation creates a bond that the lost child, craving connection, embraces without question. Yet, the similarities are superficial. The lost child's scapegoating stems from being overlooked and dismissed within the family system, while the golden child's scapegoating stems from defiance and perceived betrayal. This bond is weaponized. The fallen golden child manipulates the lost child in participating in smear campaigns, using their ignorance and longing for belonging as tools. The lost child willingly joins the fallen golden child's descent, unaware of the deeper consequences. This is not a partnership, it is exploitation, orchestrated by the fallen golden child to validate their rebellion at the expense of the lost child's innocence. The fallen golden child's actions are not merely misguided, they are profoundly malicious. To manipulate someone into jeopardizing their own soul for selfish gain is an evil of staggering magnitude. Like Lucifer, who led angels astray under the guise of liberation, the fallen golden child risked the lost child's eternal destiny to serve their own agenda. This is a betrayal of the highest order, a calculated act of selfishness that weaponizes trust and longing. This level of evil reflects an inversion of care, turning love into a facade and connection into a trap. It is a cruelty that not only harms but destroys, leaving the victim in a state of despair and estrangement. After his fall, Lucifer became Satan, the adversary, the embodiment of inversion. Everything that emanates from him is an anti-truth, a perversion of what is good. Similarly, the fallen golden child's rebellion is not about freedom but enslavement, not love but control. This dynamic underscores the perfection of God's will, in contrast to the chaos perpetuated by such figures. In a narcissistic family dynamic, where the parent's love is often conditional or absent, this inversion is painfully evident. The dysfunction of such systems reflect not God's nature but the influence of something far darker. Yet, while the family system may fail, God's love remains constant, a steadfast, unchanging force that offers genuine liberation. The story of the lost child and the fallen golden child is a cautionary tale, a reminder of the dangers of false saviors and the importance of discernment. It is not rebellion or isolation that leads to healing, but understanding and intentional growth. The lost child must look beyond illusions, seeking authentic love and truth rather than manipulative facades of those who mirror their pain for personal gain. True liberation lies in recognizing and rejecting the inversion of truth, in embracing sources of genuine care and hope. By breaking free of cycles of dysfunction and manipulation, the lost child can transcend their role, reclaim their agency, and find the authentic connection they have always sought. I was a lost child, and you found me only to lead me astray. And now I have found myself in God,